The Controversy of Kaiser Soze. Scene 1. How Did I Get Here? By Jayton B. Gunter. Grapes and Sand Productions. Act 1. Scene 1. Setting, New York, outside a police station, daytime. The conclusion of Usual Suspects, 1995. Verbal Kent, a previously thought small-time con man, is limping down the steps of a New York police station and then starts correcting his walk to freedom. With that one change, Verbal Kent has gone from a gullible criminal with a disability to one of the most wanted criminals in the world, Kaiser Soze. Kaiser produces a cigarette. A car stops. The driver keeps his head forward in the moment. It's Kobayashi, or the man we've come to know as such. He then turns towards Kaiser a couple of seconds later and smiles. Kaiser steps off of the curb, returning the smile as he opens the passenger door and gets in the black Jaguar. They pull off. A moment later, Agent David Kujan of U.S. Customs wanders into the frame, looking around, much in the way a child would when lost at the circus. He takes no notice of the car pulling out into traffic, blending in with the rest of the cars filled with people on their way back to work. Fade to black. Act 2. Scene 1. Setting, a Portland, Oregon residence, 22 years later. Present day. Night. Brianna, a rail-thin teenager, leaves her room. Brianna comes down the stairs to see her parents dancing in the kitchen listening to Babel Gilberto, an artist they fell in love with during their last summer trip to Brazil. On the counter is a massive ribeye, freshly pulled out of the oven. Brianna's father still has his why-no stitched chef's apron on, and her mom's laptop is resting on the big island in the middle of the kitchen. Both parents look up as Brianna starts to speak. Yeah, I get it, you love each other, but I'm starving. I thought you'd be done already. Her father dips her mom behind the island closer to the stove, and then Charlie Pettis responds, I believe, little girl, you still have homework to do? Brianna rolls her eyes, then responds, I need a break. I can't think without food. Brianna needs food, Brianna says in a caveman's tone while slapping both hands on the kitchen island to get their attention. Charlie responds, I think Brianna needs to go back upstairs. Or maybe she should learn how to cook for herself. Brianna's mom takes this time to chime in as she makes her way back to the island to sit in front of her laptop. I agree with your father, but I'm sensing that you're down here this early for a reason. What do you really want, kiddo? Brianna walks over to the opposite end of the island, gets into one of the bar stools and flashes an innocent smile. Then she responds, Daddy dearest, you know how hard I've been working to get my grades back up. I mean, ask Mr. Ortega. He'll tell you. I've been on top of my shit. She realizes her mistake and quickly corrects. I mean, stuff. Charlie begins to cut small slivers of the meat, then responds, Get to the point, my dear. Brianna lets out a deep breath and says, So, me and some friends were invited to go to a small get-together after tomorrow's track meet at Tracy's house. I'm wondering if you'll let me roll. Nicole jumps in. Are her parents going to be there? Of course. Brianna responds a little too emphatically. Now it's Nicole's turn to roll her eyes. She then responds, Of course you'd say that. What do you think, Charlie? Should we call Tracy's house to make sure they'll be there? I don't know, babe. Our daughter wouldn't lie to us, I don't think. Wait a second. There was that time when she said she'd gone to all her classes and we found out she ditched to get drunk with that boy. What was his name? Yeah, maybe we should call. He says with a smirk. Beads of sweat start to rise on Brianna's forehead, and then she slaps her palms back on the kitchen island. Brianna responds with a raised tone. Why can't you just trust my word? You know what? Don't worry about it. I swear. I make one mistake and now it's part of every conversation. Brianna gets up and begins to walk out of the kitchen. Only one mistake? Nicole exclaims. Brianna turns back towards her parents and angrily says, I'm so tired of you two throwing every bad decision back in my face. You act like you never make mistakes. Charlie starts to walk towards the back of Brianna's head as she ascends up the stairs to her room. Charlie's words follow Brianna but fall on deaf ears as she continues walking up the stairs. Oh, we understand mistakes, my dear. But as adults, we also understand consequences. Our job is to help you comprehend those same consequences. You need to come to grips with why you were grounded in the first place. By the time the last words exits his mouth, Brianna slams her door. Charlie walks back into the kitchen. Nicole snickers, then says, "I knew you should have taken that door off of its hinges," she says with a laugh. Charlie responds, "As they say about love, hindsight's 20/20. The doorbell rings. Nicole gets up and starts towards the door but looks over her shoulder at Charlie and says, "You expecting anyone?" Charlie looks up from his stove and responds, "Nope." Nicole responds under her breath, "I'll get it this time, since your stomach seems to be in control of your chivalry at the moment, or lack thereof." At that same moment, Brianna realizes that she forgot her phone downstairs, so she leaves her bedroom. And as she reaches the top, the stairs leading down to the front door, her mom reaches the front door's knob. The doorway then explodes, and Nicole is lifted and pushed back against the bottom of the stairs. In walks a man, in lead position, with a double-barrel, sawed-off shotgun. Upon the sound of the exploding front door, Charlie starts for his hidden drawer under the oven. In the compartment is a 6-shot .38 handgun. The first guy walks in the kitchen and Charlie points and shoots. The guy goes down. Charlie yells at the top of his lungs, "Baby, stay in your room! Don't come down here! Daddy's in a business meeting!" Brianna, after witnessing what just happened to her mother, listens to her father. A first. Then she lightly runs back to her room. Charlie checks his revolver to make sure he still has 5 bullets in his .38. Another man follows the path of the first one and comes around the corner into the kitchen with his gun drawn. Charlie sees the shadow of the new pistol-wielding man, points again, and shoots. This time he misses, and the man shoots back. Charlie ducks under the island. As all of this is occurring, Alton and Tobias pull up to the residence. They see 6 guys outside of the front door. One guy shoots through the front door with a shotgun and enters the house. One guy heads around to the back side of the house. One plays his position between the front and back of the house, and the other 3 guys are ready to breach the front door while one waits in the van. Alton motions Tobias to handle the guy in the van, the in-between guy and the one moving towards the back position. Alton then indicates that he'll take care of the front door assholes. Tobias uses a silencer to shoot the man in the van. Double tap. Then he moves towards the in-between guy and pops him in the back of the head. Before he can get to the guy in the back of the house, the front 2 have entered. After the first 2 shots rang out from inside of the house, the last one is about to mimic the movements of his comrades. He's so focused on following up on breaching the threshold, he doesn't hear Alton approaching. A split second later, the man is lying on the porch with his neck snapped. Alton enters the house. By the time Tobias gets to the back of a house, the man he's following has already disappeared into the back door. Tobias raises his pistol and follows the path of the man who's just entered. When Tobias sneaks in, he notices that the man has his gun trained on a target coming through the front door. Tobias automatically pulls the trigger and shoots the guy in the head. He already knew that by this time, Alton had already taken care of most of the guys he saw in the front. Tobias had a feeling that the guy he just killed was aiming at Alton. When the man fell, Alton raised his gun in the direction of the shot, and once he realized it was Tobias, he lowers it. He mouths, "Thanks." Then he raises his gun again. Before it gets to full height, he hears the click of a trigger and dives to the ground. The man in the kitchen shoots at him. He hears another shot, and it's not meant for him. Alton gets his bearings and stands up and walks towards the corner of the kitchen. The assailant speaks. "Whomever you are that just walked through the front door, this is not your fight. I suggest you get out of here and mind your own business." Alton immediately shoots a couple of rounds at the voice and responds, "You have no idea whether this is my business or not." Charlie, hearing that this conversation about his current dire situation did not include himself, decides to chime in. "Well, I know it's my business and I don't know either one of you assholes. This is my house, you're not welcomed here. Get the fuck out." With that, Charlie stands up from behind the island, shoots 2 more shots towards the direction of the man shooting at him. He misses, and the man, no longer in the place Charlie thought he was in, aims his gun and shoots Charlie in the chest. After the shot, Alton comes from around the corner and shoots the second assailant in the head. At this point, Alton has yet to see Brianna, so he figures she was upstairs. He starts to make his way up and realizes that one guy was missing from his original count when they pulled up. He steps slowly and silently up the stairs. As he gets 3/4 of the way up, he hears a scream and a shot. Alton runs up the steps, and the moment he bursts through the door, he's staring down the barrel of a gun. It's Brianna, with tears streaming down her face and a Glock 9 pointed directly at Alton's head. Once Alton sees the gun, he stops in his tracks and looks for the assailant. He's dead, and Alton, realizing that Brianna was the one who pulled the trigger, he immediately drops his gun. Then, Alton's eyes and face soften while looking at his daughter. Alton speaks. "I know you don't know me, but I'm here to help. That guy on the ground is not with me." Brianna looks unflinchingly at Alton as if his words mean nothing to her. She points her gun even more aggressively at him. Alton, starting to feel the pressure, notices the gold necklace around Brianna's neck. His voice begins to shake when saying the next couple of lines. "That necklace around your neck, your mom gave that to you, right?" Brianna yells sharply. "How do you know that?" Alton, tearing up, responds, "My dear girl, because I was the one who gave it to her. I've been keeping tabs on you throughout the years and only came here to make sure you were safe." Brianna doesn't lower the gun. Alton continues, "Look, you don't have to put it down, just follow me out of the house. There may be more action coming our way." Brianna keeps her gun trained on Alton, but follows his lead out of the room. As soon as her gun breaches the doorframe, Tobias, who's been hiding next to the room's exit, grabs the gun out of her hand. Brianna lunges at him, and Alton catches her around the waist and puts her, still fighting, on his shoulder, and walks her down the stairs. Tobias trails them holding the gun and sweeping everything around their position until they make it downstairs. When they do, Brianna knees Alton in the chest and escapes his arm. She then rushes into the kitchen and sees multiple bodies lying around. When Tobias and Alton catch up with her, they find her kneeling by the body of the man who raised her. She'd already begun sobbing when Alton puts his hand on her shoulder. But before he can speak, she looks at him, wearing a scowl, and with tears still in her eyes, she speaks. Act 3. Scene 1. Setting, downtown San Jose penthouse. Early morning, present day. Alarm clock plays. Rick Ross. Every day I'm hustling. Alton Stryker smashes down the dismissed button on his alarm clock. Then he immediately sits up, wiping the sleep from his eyes. He grabs his phone again and puts on the Bill Evans station from Pandora. He then closes his eyes and sits back on the headboard to meditate. He does this for 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, he gets up and does 5 sets of 20 push-ups and 25-second plank exercises. Alton then goes to a separate room designated for martial arts, equipped with a wooden dummy, mats, a speed and punching bag. Then, of course, weapons were always a part of staying ready, so he always took the time to train with different types of knives and katanas. After 45 minutes to an hour, he'd stroll over to his shower. Being raised in a military family, he only gave himself 5 to 7 minutes in the hot water. After a quick shave, Alton steps into his walk-in closet to pick the right suit to impress Flora McQueen, a woman who's heavy in the San Jose art scene. Alton's done enough research on Flora to know that her favorite color is navy blue, so he decides to throw on his navy blue suit with thin white pinstripes and light brown wingtip shoes to match his belt. The only other accessory consisted of a white and navy blue pocket square, no hat or tie necessary. Alton exits his million-dollar penthouse on San Fernando Street in downtown San Jose, with a large thermos of coffee, and immediately walks over to Levic's for a breakfast burrito, light on the rice but heavy on the eggs and shredded chicken. Alton starts for the bus stop situated right next to Camera Cinema on 2nd Street. As he approaches and sees her already seated and waiting patiently for the light rail, he waits for the right moment to speak. Alton looks to approach cautiously, not wanting to scare her off. The light rail begins to approach, and Alton makes his move. She knows him, of course, but by a different name than Kaiser.
This is just a snippet of the controversy of Kaiser Soze. To get the full audio experience, go to the link in the description or sign up for my Patreon. I'll have that link below too. Cheers.